Was this group all vaccinated now? Eugene, have you gotten yours?
Yeah, I got mine. All my staff are required also to get it, but they all want to work remotely. Everyone wants to work remotely.
They're trying to avoid you, Eugene.
Indeed. Yeah, we have the same situation.
Really? My staff wants to be back in the office. They're like, when can we be back in the office?
Oh, wow.
We have some of each.
Yeah.
So it is 7 o'clock. We are live streaming on YouTube. So you're welcome to call to order.
Okay, this is May 5th, 2021, special meeting of the Design Review Commission in conjunction with the Public Arts Commission Staff Liaison. First item is roll call. My name is Glenn Cass. I'm the chair. Let's go through roll call. Kristen?
I'm here.
John?
John Gray here.
Eugene?
Here.
Thank you. So we have one commissioner absent as of this point in time. Second item is adoption of the agenda. Do I have a motion to adopt, or are there some changes to be made?
I'll move to adopt.
Thank you, John. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Eugene. So let's go through the roll call on this. Kristen?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Eugene?
Aye.
And Glenn is aye. Next item is public comments. This would be items that are not on the agenda tonight, but under the purview of this commission. Do we have any raised hands, star nines, or other indications of someone that wants to speak?
We do have a raised hand. It's been up for some time. And I believe the comment is related to the item on the agenda, but Pat Horn is the screen name. I'll allow, rather than bring in as a panelist, Pat Horn, your audio is enabled if you want to offer public comment on something that's not on the agenda.
I understand. This is Early Warren. No, I had another comment over and above and aside everything. It was specifically for you, but I'll take that up later.
That's it?
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Greg, you're on mute.
Okay. No other raised hands? Thank you. Fourth item is the sign permit and variance for a painted mural at 3564 Mount Diablo Boulevard. So I assume that Jenny will be presenting this tonight?
I'll be presenting it in conjunction with Nirup.
Okay, thank you. So we're ready for your presentation at this time.
Thank you, Chair Cass and Commissioners. I spoke with City Manager and she said that she would start the meeting and then I'll pick up from there.
And
good evening. Thank you. And thank you, Chair Cass, and good evening, Design Review Commissioners. It's a pleasure to meet you virtually. I've worked with Commissioner Sim in the past, but I haven't worked with Commissioners Siddell and Gray. So thank you for doing what you do for the city. My name is Nirup Srivatsa, and I'm the Lafayette City Manager. And I'm here with Jenny Rosen to submit an application for your review and approval. This is an unusual sign application in that it is a painted wall mural at the intersection of Diablo Boulevard and Oak Hill Road, the blank wall that faces the city's parking lot, the eastern wall of the building. The city attorney's office has reviewed the matter, and given the broad definition of signs and non-commercial sign in the city's sign ordinance, it has been determined that the mural is indeed a sign and therefore requires your review and approval. And I want to make a correction to the staff report, given that it is a sign and the matter rests with you. It will not go to the city council for approval unless the matter is appealed, typical of applications that come to you. Jenny is going to get into the details of the sign, but what I would like to do is really focus on what's before you, which is a large painted mural that covers the eastern wall of the building. Given the sign ordinance's restrictions on size, the size of this mural exceeds the allowance permitted by the ordinance, since all 4 operating businesses that face the boulevard that are housed in this building already take up the area allowed by the sign ordinance. So this mural does require a variance. It is unusual in that it does not advertise a commercial business, does not advertise the details of a business, but rather is a kind of a universal message that of unity and diversity. And the reason why this mural is important is that it is very much in alignment with the City Council's adopted goal of promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion in Lafayette. DEI is one of the City Council's goals of last year, continues to be this year, and we're making several efforts on several fronts in this regard. So in order to make the findings for design review, as Jenny will mention, the mural is very tastefully designed. It incorporates and actually is designed to involve the trees and the landscaping in front of it. So it's been carefully crafted that way. It requires...
Oh, she went mute.
I muted myself, sorry. It requires a variance because as I mentioned before, the operating businesses have already taken up the allowance from the sign ordinance. And without the variance, there will not be an effective mural promoting the messages that I discussed. So the mural, the variance is required, and the mural will not overpower the surroundings. Rather, it's the colors and the features and the forms that are incorporated in it are subtle and effective, and they're available as the sign ordinance requires. It will be visible to passing motorists and to the pedestrian, and it's at a scale that can be enjoyed by all. With that, I would like to turn it over to Jenny, and she will get into the details of the project. Thank you.
You're muted, Jenny.
Okay. Thank you, City Manager, and thank you, Chair Cass and the Commission members tonight for meeting. As you read in the staff report, resident architect and artist Lara Dudo came to the Public Art Committee in December of 2020 and presented her proposal for the mural with its message of inclusion. The mural features flowers, monarch butterflies, a panther, and a dragon. The background for the mural, a white or cream, matches the front of the building, pulling the background color seamlessly from around the corner. The work has also been designed to incorporate the existing trees, as City Manager said, and landscaping in front of the wall. In fact, the landscape surround becomes part of the work with the butterflies flying among the live trees. Her presentation, Laura's, was exceptionally well prepared, thorough, and thoughtful, offering maps, detailed scale drawings, and a color palette. She was responsive to a Public Art Committee request, and in February presented scaled, full-color renderings of the mural. The work, which is on private property, will be maintained by the property owners and the design team, and as a living work of art, it will remain up for a minimum of 2 years. The Public Art Committee unanimously supports this work, both because of its high quality and as it reflects the public policy goal of City Council to promote a message of unity and inclusion. The chair of the Public Art Committee, Susan Loria, the Public Art Committee members Erling Horn and Yuki Fujimoto, and artist Laura Dudo are in attendance this evening to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from commissioners at this time?
Yeah, I do have a question. And I'm not sure if this is directed to the artist or Jenny, to you. There is some evolution between the original version and the updated version that was included in the packet. And to some degree, I would say the message was softened maybe a little bit. So much so that I really struggled to find the BLM in the second version. And personally, I would, it's a little subtle. I would appreciate that part of it being a little stronger. The DEI I found right away, but I really had to zoom in before I realized it was hidden amongst the butterfly. So I'm curious what you're thinking and the artist's thinking is on that, the strength of the message graphically.
Thank you. If Laura's on the call, I think she's probably the best person to answer that.
There we go. Hi. Can you hear me? Great.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you for asking that. That is purely a Photoshop. That is my inability to accurately render it in Photoshop. It was funny because as I went through the process of kind of refining this thing through the different color renderings, my goal was actually to make the BLM stand out a little bit more from the first version. In fact, I had talked to some people of color in the community, and they said that might be something important in terms of starting a conversation. And so purely graphic limitations is all that is. So yeah, it's meant to have some acronyms in the butterflies that make us think. That's the goal.
Okay, so is it safe to say that we can expect the final mock-up to have that in particular graphically stronger?
Yes, correct.
Okay, glad to hear
Same
it.
same size though, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay,
Jenny
any
or
other
Laura?
questions?
Yeah, through the chair, I have just one question. It's about context. And thank you for coming today and presenting. My question is about the overall length of the building facade on that side to see relative to the composition or the what is called the palette or the border, the overall paintable area, where this is located about it and what proportion is within that, so that I can get a better sense of the context on that wall.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that there is a pretty good most recent color rendering on the wall itself, which could be helpful to bring up, but it doesn't take over the entire wall. My focus was to stay more on the corner of the building and between the first 3 trees. So I was kind of playing with those sycamore trees, and I really kind of wanted to stay away from the garbage and the utilities, which were over on the right, and just kind of let them go away.
Okay.
And I think it's about 50 feet, so 40 feet, something like that. I've actually never gotten a tape measure out, but that's what it feels like to me, maybe 40 or 50 feet of paintable area.
Okay.
Jenny, are you able to put this on your screen from the staff report?
I may be able to. I have me.
It's slide 10, Jenny.
Yeah, I have it on page 15.
Okay.
Yes, that's where I see it.
Is there a shares? Let me find the share screen.
Green in the lower middle of the screen.
Ah,
Is that large enough for you to see?
Yes.
Yes, we
Yes.
can see it. But my question is about the overall in the entire facade. So I know proportionally how the overall wall then appears to be with that beautiful allegorical painting that is being positioned more toward the corner of an urban design feature. So I just wanted to see, is it 50% of the wall? Is that where the monarch butterfly, the last one, the tail of the dragon positioning is? Is that about 50% of the wall, or is that 2/3 of the wall? I don't know. I don't have a sense of scale relative to the whole wall.
Yeah, I think it's about, I'd say it's inching in on 2/3 of the wall.
Oh,
and right at
okay.
the right side of that tail, there gets to be some utilities. So it seemed like a good place to stop.
Mm-hmm. So then the rest of the wall will be cream color painted over the brick cladded material. And so it would go all the way in and terminate the terminus of the right flank of that entire wall. So then, is there trees in front of that too? I forgot how it is. I pass by this a lot and Uncle used over there, but are there trees that continue to march along so it does skin or layer in front of the white wall? Because it's going to be a little bit different now, right? It is currently brick clad wall, a little bit darker, saturated, because this is facing southeasterly direction, I think, mainly sunrise. And then at the height of the sun, white walls tend to be more reflective, reflectance, and the darker tone tends to saturate more. So I'm not saying one or the other is right or wrong. This is a very inspirational project, but I have no problem with murals and all, but I just need to know as a design commissioner, the urban design aspect of it, the architectonic element of this as you are composing this art piece onto this facade.
It's I didn't take at least in the program, I don't have a picture of the whole wall, but I believe those trees go one more. I'm not sure. That's a good question. And I also haven't really delineated where that white paint stops. I assumed it would go all the way to the inside corner. It's not a brick wall, by the way. It's a CMU wall that has a kind of a mauve paint on it. Yeah. So we're painting over another painted surface, but we could certainly decide to stop the white paint at a certain point if you felt that kind of having the right corner there recessed back would be more powerful.
No, I have no preference anyway. I just need to know the overall poetic idea behind your allegorical painting. So I think just my perspective is that you as an artist, Laura, you've got a good grasp on this idea here, but that the whole wall is to be looked at holistically, including the remaining part where much of your densified allegorical statement is at the other part is white, but think about the whole composition together as your painted frame, if you want to talk. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate the answer to that question. All right.
Great.
Yes,
excuse me, if I may just add, I just popped open Google Earth and I'm sorry, I cannot share my screen with you. My computer doesn't do that for some reason. There are of 5 trees and we're seeing 3 of them here. There are 2 more trees marching backward. And I would say it's probably about 60% of the wall that's exactly what I'm looking for.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
So hopefully that helps everybody understand where this is going to be.
Yeah, and there are trees all along there too. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Any other questions? I going back to John's original comment. So are we going with the scheme that says DEI now instead of rise up, or is it rise up or what on the one butterfly?
No, the rise up, sorry, is that a question for me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. The rise up was an initial early concept, and then there was some collaboration back and forth, and then we've ended up with the the one we just showed, which is the DEI, and yeah.
Okay, I guess we're open to commissioners' review comments. Who would like to start this evening? Oh, Greg, you have something, a comment? That's right, public comments. I'm so sorry. Do we have any raised hand? First of all, we should acknowledge that we got quite a few letters that were sent to us this afternoon. I believe if I summarize them correctly, there was one that was negative and all the others were affirmative. And so we're open for public comments.
Correct. So posted on the city's website on the agenda, there's the staff report and the attachments, and then day of the meeting, anything that is received public comment wise between publication of the staff report and noon the day of the hearing is compiled, placed on that agenda for the public to access, also shared with the commission for you to be aware of, and your read of it is correct, Chair Cass. I believe it's 11 pages, and each comment is about a page. One is not in favor, and the remaining were. We did receive one additional public comment late today, but consistent with the noon deadline, we did not share that out. So with that, please do hit on your screen, raise your hand, or hit *9 if you're calling in. No call-ins. So we do have 3 raised hands, and there will be a momentary transporter where your screen is changing. You won't be able to hear, but you're going to be changed from a panelist, an attendee into a panelist, and then you are invited to turn on your mic. To voice your comments, you're welcome to turn on your video as well. Screen sharing is an option. So the first raised hand is from Marcella, who will be followed by Susan Dan Felser. Marcella is coming in now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we
can. You have 3 minutes, Marcella.
Great. I just want to thank you, first of all, for doing this important work. I myself work in government, and I fully support the mural. I moved to Lafayette in 2009, and I'm originally from Bolivia, and it's been very nice, community embracing diversity, and I believe the mural is a really beautiful work of art that will make our children feel represented, and will start discussions that sometimes are difficult, but are important for us to understand each other better and build a stronger community. So I fully support the artwork, and I think it's also great that it's the result of collaboration with my understanding students from Oakland. So thank you all, and especially the artists and everybody who's been behind this effort. Thanks.
Thank you, Marcella. Any questions from commissioners for her? Okay. Next speaker.
Susan Dana Felser coming in now. You were unmuted for a moment, but are back on mute, Susan.
You're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. You have 3 minutes, Susan. Thank you.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'm Susan Dana-Felser. Was on the original Public Art Committee. Artist, lived in Lafayette for the last 50 years. And I totally support this project. Laura does amazing things. I love who she's collaborating with. I think it's a really diverse group of artists they're working with. And I've been behind it from when I first saw it, when I looked at it when they presented it to the Public Art Committee. And Jenny sent it to me because she knows I'm still interested in what goes on, even though I'm no longer a member of the Public Art Committee. And I just think it's fantastic. And I think it's appropriate for Lafayette. I think it reaches diversity, but in a way that I think a lot of people will look at it. They'll be attracted to it, to look at it, rather than be put off by it. So I think it's a great addition to the public art of this city, and also very different than things we have so far. And for the longest time, the Public Art Committee has wanted murals in this city. So this is a great start. That's all.
Thank you, Susan. It's appreciated. Any comments or questions for Susan? Okay, we'll move on. Do we have any other speakers?
Lynn Mcmichael.
Okay. You're muted, Lynn. You're still muted.
We can see you.
Thank you.
I just want to thank all of you for putting the time and the energy into this. I've lived in Lafayette since 1969, and just watching it flourish like this and have more beautiful art and people so devoted as you are, just the time you put into this and the artists that have stepped forward just absolutely warms my heart. I'm so grateful I live in Lafayette. And thank you all for all that you've done. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. Any questions by the commissioners? Okay, Greg, do we have any final raised hands?
No additional raised hands, but Mr. Horn is here, and even though, despite my best efforts by clicking on change role to attendee, I've been unable to put him back in the attendees section. So I'm going to invite him if it seems like he's turned on his camera and would like to offer public comment. So if that's the case, please proceed.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Greg, for that. I'm on the Public Art Committee. And I must say, and one of the original members, and Susan Denna Felser was also one of the founding members of the Art Committee. And she really put everything together in my thoughts, and actually the whole committee's thoughts in a nutshell. And it was wonderfully done. And design review, considering this, is a wonderful job that you're doing. I do have one thing, and I hope that the city can offer a little help with regard to the installation of this, because the installation will have to happen on our public parking lot. And I hope that the city Public Works Department can offer a hand in coordinating off the parking places as required, as long as it's on a temporary basis and not over some prolonged period, because that would affect Uncle U's ability to park their customers. But if they work with Public Works, I'm sure they can pull this off in a very beautiful and efficient and unobtrusive way. So I support it, and I hope that the Design Review Commission will vote unanimously yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Horn. Any questions by commissioners for him? Okay. Greg, any last final comments before we move on to commissioner comments? Who would like to start this evening? Up for grabs.
Ken?
Okay, John?
I would just like to compliment the artist and the Art Commission for getting us this far. I really find it quite inspirational to see the level of unanimity and commitment toward this kind of message, and the fact that it is being expressed really in a graphically beautiful way. I'm really proud of our city for making this kind of thing happen. So I do hope that the message achieves the right graphic balance of content to grab your attention in a way that is not maybe overly firm, but you see it and you say, oh, that's what this is about. I think it does. So I wholeheartedly support this, and I think it will beautify that little parking lot, and Uncle U will ultimately be happy to have it there and enhancing their customer experience. So thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Who would like to go next? Eugene?
Sure. I think John articulated very well. It's a great community project. I see that it's going to improve the awareness and all the current items that are important to our community be highlighted, right? So I'm really appreciative of that effort. And thank you for all the leadership from all the city art commissioners and so on. The thing that I'm focusing on as a design review commissioner, as our eminent city manager alluded to, we need to make sure the findings are there so that we don't give anyone, this is considered a signage permit. So I'm very clear that the staff has given us the findings to recognize this as a legitimate and reasonable request for a variance. And so I'm very happy to be part of the commission to endorse this. Thank you.
Okay, Kristen?
So I echo the sentiments and thoughts of my colleagues. I think it's great to enhance a city with a mural, especially one that was created through the collaboration of a lot of inspired and impassioned people. So I think that's a great mark to leave on a city and to leave for our time. So I support that. I also want to echo Eugene's comments about this meeting the requirements or the findings for a variance, and that it has met those requirements. So I think this is a great initiative and will yield a great result.
Thank you. And finally, my comments. I like the art. I like its functioning around the landscaping. I have to say that this building is not on my top 10 most beautiful buildings, so I think this enhances it. The only negative comment I have is that it took me quite a while to realize that there was any message other than butterflies, a dragon, and a panther on there. And so I'm a little concerned that the public will possibly miss the message. That when I looked at the write-up and everything, I saw this as diversity, inclusion, and all that, and it really was sort of hidden on the butterflies. So that's my only comment, is that I don't know how you can enhance that so that the message isn't just dragon and panther. But that's it. I agree with the variance is the findings are, because it's not marketing a company, it has no signage in the words of lettering or things like that. It's no logo. It's nothing that relates to any commercial or other establishment. So it's a unique opportunity to put a mural in Lafayette. There's many in other cities, and I welcome the addition to Lafayette. So I think we're ready to make a resolution. It seems like we're all in concurrence that to go ahead with this mural. Do I have a motion?
I'll motion to approve the variance for this mural.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll
Thank you,
second it.
Jane. Okay, so let's go through the roll call on who's accepting. Kristen,
Aye.
Eugene,
Aye.
John, John.
Sorry about that. Aye.
You see your thumb. Aye, okay, and Glenn is aye. Thank you. Don't do anything for 14 days. The appeal period.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to other agenda items, which I don't believe we have any other agenda items tonight. That is, so we're at adjournment. So I will adjourn the meeting. I thank everyone for their attendance. I thank you because this is a special meeting and we
Thank
have
you.
several others coming up this month. So keep that in mind. Okay, everyone have a good night. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night. Thanks.